Hi everybody, we're now able to start week 3 and I have 2 lesson plans for this week. Hopefully you've started lesson plan 3 already, Introduction to Indian Thought, and then you could concentrate on Hinduism, but if not, let's go ahead and open up lesson plan 3 and you'll see that lesson plan 3 is Introduction to what is an Indian Guru and what is Indian Yoga about. So the reading is pretty simple and the film watching is pretty simple. This is a very quick lesson plan. I think it's just 2 hours at the max. Lecture notes, I don't have a lecture that I've given on it, but I do have some lecture notes for you. And it really walks you through the difference between an Eastern understanding of reality and a Western understanding. And there is a big difference, as you see that. In the Eastern understanding, for instance, they have no concept of a hell. There may be concepts of incarnating into regions that are hellish, and maybe even this planet might be viewed as a form of a hell because there's pain and suffering in it, but there's no eternal hell. Where in Western religions, there is that idea of an eternal hell. In Eastern religions, they have the concept that time is cyclical. So you're born, you can reincarnate time and time again, and you will do so, they would argue, until you have attained the highest state of consciousness and realize your true divine nature. And so the idea is there's always hope in that sense. And the Western religion has much more of a linear concept of time, and so there's a beginning point and an end point and a judgment concept that's connected to that. So their understandings of reality are quite different, and to go through those little notes and learn about that. And then you click out of that. The required reading here is a book called The Enchanted Land, and it takes a phenomenological, empathetic view of world religions, or of Indian religions, I should say, and it really tries to step into the shoe of a believer to understand what Indian thought is about, what meditation is about, what a guru is about. And there's 8 chapters and 8 different gurus to learn about. And here's some information on some of them, and I wanted you to read through all of those. And you'll be focusing on 3 of your favorites, but read all of it so you really have a fair understanding of what a guru is about, and then you have a wiser perspective of who to concentrate on. And then the films for you, you have Ramana Maharshi for Kirchang and Samvat Singh, and these are different gurus here. There's Mataji, there's a female guru, Yogananda, who's the founder of the Self-Realization Fellowship in the 1920s in America, and there's a picture of Ramana Maharshi. So I just put up some of the pictures of the gurus that are found in the book, and then there's 3 films. These are covering 3 of the gurus. And it says it doesn't have to, you're reading the 3 gurus that you focus on from the reading. You read all 8, but you focus on 3. You don't have to match it with these 3. I'd actually kind of prefer in a way that they're not an exact match, but the readings and the film cover different aspects of the gurus, so they're not an exact match anyway. Okay, so the post topic. So I'm going to give you a choice this week, and a choice is choice A or choice B, and choice A is focusing on the concept of those gurus here. Or guru simply is an Indian word for teacher, and post B is a different one, and it's experimental, or experiential, I should say, and experimental. It's both. And what you're being asked to do is to read this article. It walks you through various steps how to meditate, and to actually then practice meditation for 3 to 4 days in a row. And as a kind of a journalistic style of writing, write up what each day you experienced. Meditate for a minimum of 20 minutes for 3 to 4 days, and then explain to us what progress you made, was it worthwhile, what was your reaction to it, and so forth. So you wouldn't be able to do this without first reading that. And tell me, did you follow those 20 steps, and which ones helped you and didn't help you, and so forth. So you work that article into that post. And then your exam question here. You have the 4 bullets, 3 of them on the 3 gurus, and then 1 on the films here. So here we go, and that concludes that particular lesson plan 3. And now I'm going to jump you into the hardest lesson plan for the term, hopefully covering it in just a few minutes for you though. This one is a lesson plan 4, and I'm going to give you like 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks to work on it. So week 3 and week 4 are available to you to get the work done. And it starts with the lecture notes, and I have a special note to you guys indicating this is one of the harder lesson plans for the term, and why is it so? Please read through that. I also even apologize if some confusion lingers as you study Hinduism. And the one thing you need to know why it's so confusing is it's 5,000 years of history. Okay, we can't cover all of the history, but there is no founder of Hinduism. There's no one teacher that articulates the ideas. It is rather a conglomeration of 5,000 years of different Indian ideas that we in the West label as Hinduism. We're the ones that really label it and put it in a nice little package called Hinduism. There's some common core beliefs that all Hindus embrace. Like they all embrace the concept of reincarnation. They all embrace the concept of karma, of samsara, of the cycle of birth and death, of moksha, liberating us from this wheel of birth and death or samsara. Very often there's the idea that Atman is Brahman, Brahman is the divine, and Atman is us, ourself, and that we are Brahman, we are part of the divine, and to wake up to that reality. So there's some common ideas, but there's also large differences and diversities within Hinduism. So here's my little lecture for you. Here's an optional lecture, but very, very helpful one on Hinduism. And this one is required. This one's optional, but I highly recommend it. Any optional work you do, again, put in your extra credit and tell me about it. And then here's my notes. And why do I have 3 notes here? Because basically, this is a religion that needs a lot more help for you. So I have my lecture notes. Students told me this was very helpful. This is what I give my on-campus students. I break Hinduism into 6 time periods and cover the main points of each. And then I have some other notes on Hinduism, just some notes that I've typed up, okay, walking you through important ideas of Hindu philosophy. And then I have what are called the 4s of Hinduism. There's a lot of 4s of Hinduism, 4 stages, 4 castes, 4 goals, 4 yogas, for this, for that. And some of it are manufactured by the West. In other words, there's not just 4, for instance, let me walk you through one example. There's not just 4 main views of God. There's multiple understandings of the higher reality. It's just I've started the 4 concept and carried it through there. And then music. I'm offering you, once we are now into the world religions, I'm offering you a link to the music of the world religions. So every time you go into the lecture and the note, you'll see a music option for fun. And sometimes students tell me it relaxes them so much, or they keep playing it through the day as they're cleaning their house because they really enjoyed it. So again, let me know if you're listening to that music, anything extra that you do. Okay, and then we're going into the required reading. And the required reading, I have the main Hindu reading, and then I have a second article. The main Hindu reading is broken up into sections. It's A, giving you a background of Hinduism, and then B, and I think it goes all the way down to, let's see, all the way down to, okay, G, what it is to be like a Hindu today, okay? And then I have some great quotes on Hinduism and a namaste greeting and what that word means, because I end up saying that often in my lectures here. So it gives you really background. It's a lot of bullets, a lot of pictures, and I'm the one that, I didn't write this article, but I'm the one that really put in the pictures and the bullets to make it as clear as possible for you. The secondary reading is from pluralism.org, and it's really a collaboration, between Harvard and Columbia University, and they put together text on the different world religions, and I use them throughout the semester. It's much shorter than the first reading, but it really will add some clarity to Hinduism, so I wanted to read both of those. 9 Myths of Hinduism Debunked from a CNN article. It's just like 1 page long. It's fun to look at, and this one's optional. Okay, and there you go. A lot of students, I ask them their favorite between reading 1 and reading 2, and I get mixed reviews on both of those. In other words, one either loves 1 and doesn't like 2, or vice versa. It goes the other way around. The film watching for the lesson plan is, well, number 1, take notes as you're watching the films. Here we have a short interview of Houston Smith being interviewed by Bill Moyers. Just a few minutes long. This is the main film. It's a 6-hour documentary. You are not watching 6 hours, you're watching 40 minutes of it. And it really covers the 2 first time periods of Hinduism. And the first 2 time periods of Hinduism is called the Indus Valley Civilization and then the Aryan period. There's 6 time periods of Hindu history that we talk about as scholars, and these are the first 2 periods that are covered in this BBC film. And then John Green, who does crash courses, he does a really nice, fun one on Hinduism, which is 9 minutes long. Okay, and so you have the section A and B on John Green, and I believe that's it for the film watching, which is about an hour of Hindu film watching. The post topic, you have 2, okay, and 1 is very kind of creative. Imagine you're Hindu, and which stage of life would you be at? Which goal would you be pursuing? Because remember, there's the 4 goals that are talked about in the reading, and which yoga would you practice, etc. Which god would you be inspired by, etc. Or you can choose the religious literature itself, which is the Hindu literature. It's the Bhagavad Gita, and to read, you don't have to read the whole thing, but you can read and choose your favorite 5 chapters to write on, starting with chapter 1, because chapter 1 sets up the whole story, and it's viewed from scholars' perspective as a fictional story, but a poetic, kind of a love story in a way that why do I say love story? It's a song of the Lord. It's the story of Arjuna. He's the warrior, and Krishna is his chariot driver. He doesn't realize Krishna really is the divine in incarnate form. And so Krishna is trying to talk to Arjuna into carrying out his duty, and his duty is to be a warrior. It's not a pro-war book in any way. It's more deeply symbolic, and it's how he shouldn't fear death because death is not the final uh, result of the human being, and there's life beyond. It's just got all these deep religious themes in it, and the soul being in love with God, and it's that whole concept as well. It's very, very poetic. And then here we have the Upanishads, part 1, part 2, and you can read through there and choose your favorites. So I give you religious literature sometimes as options, or the actual post question, so you can choose A or B. Okay, let's click out of that very quickly, and then we go to the exam question. In the exam question, again, as I'm going to reiterate one more time, this is the toughest lesson plan the entire 12 weeks. And so just bear through me. It's Hinduism requires a little bit more. After Hinduism, everything is going to seem like cakewalk to you. It'll be very, very simple because it's all the other religions we're going to be studying really do have a teacher and a founder, like Buddhism and Jainism and so forth, but Hinduism lacks that. So there's so much diversity and complexity. So here we have bullet 1 and 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and okay, I say approximately 4 hours to complete this lesson plan, probably a little more on the 5 hour. That's why I'm giving you the 2 weeks to work on it. And please utilize the help forum if you have any questions whatsoever. I am more than available. Hinduism is one of my favorite subjects. I've been to India 3 times. I just returned from India a few months ago maybe, or I just returned in December and it's February right now. So I've recently been there and it's just one of the loves of my life. I love India, I love Hinduism, and if you have any questions, I'm more than available to help you with that. Thank you very much and namaste, and now you'll learn what that word means when you study that lesson plan. Thank you. Bye-bye.